What are the hidden risks and benefits of feeding your feline friend a diet that mimics their wild ancestors, and how can you be sure that going raw is actually the best choice for their long-term health? Which specific bacteria should you be worried about when handling raw chicken or beef in your kitchen? And have you ever wondered if your domestic house cat is truly equipped to handle the same raw prey as a lion or a leopard? Hi, welcome back to Paw and Order. My name is Carl, and I am gonna breaking down the very controversial and popular topic of raw meat diets for cats into simple, easy-to-follow steps. Many pet owners believe that, since cats are obligate carnivores, they should only eat uncooked meat, while many vets warn that the dangers of germs might be too high for a normal household pet. Today, we are going to look at both sides of the coin, with a very unique perspective, so you can make the safest decision for your furry roommate. If you stay with me through these steps, you will learn exactly how a cat's stomach works, and what you need to do if you decide to change their menu to something a bit more wild. To understand if cats can eat raw meat, we first have to look at their biology, and how they are designed by nature to process protein. In the wild, cats hunt birds, mice, and small rodents, consuming them entirely, including the meat, bones, and organs, without any cooking at all. Their digestive tracts are much shorter than ours, which means food moves through their system very quickly, giving bacteria less time to settle in and cause trouble. Additionally, a cat's stomach acid is incredibly strong, sitting at a very low pH level that can kill many types of pathogens that would make a human very sick. This biological setup is why a feral cat can survive on raw prey, while we definitely cannot. However, there is a big difference between a mouse caught in a field and a piece of raw meat sitting in a grocery store plastic package. Our goal today is to bridge that gap and understand how store-bought raw meat interacts with a cat that has spent its whole life eating processed kibble or canned food in a cozy living room. How does the modern food supply chain change the safety of raw meat for your cat, and which specific germs are the biggest bad guys in this scenario? When meat is processed in a large facility, there are many opportunities for bacteria like Salmonella, Listeria, and E. coli to contaminate the surface of the meat. While a wild cat eats their prey immediately after catching it, the meat we buy has often been sitting, traveling, and being handled by many people. This increases the bacterial load, which can sometimes overwhelm even a cat's strong stomach acid. If a cat gets a bacterial infection from raw meat, they can experience severe vomiting, bloody diarrhea, and a high fever. Furthermore, there is a public health risk to you and your family. If your cat eats raw meat contaminated with Salmonella, they can shed that bacteria in their saliva and their litter box. This means that when you pet your cat or clean their box, you could accidentally get sick too. Simple steps like extreme cleanliness are required if you want to avoid this cross-contamination in your home. Which nutrients are found in raw meat that make it so attractive to cat owners, and have you considered the balance of a raw diet? Raw meat is packed with natural enzymes and amino acids, specifically taurine, which is vital for a cat's heart and eye health. Cooking meat can sometimes reduce these nutrients, which is why commercial cat foods have to add them back in artificially. Many people who switch to raw feeding report that their cats have shinier fur, smaller and less smelly stools, and much more energy. This is because raw meat is very easy for a cat's body to absorb, leaving very little waste behind. However, a cat cannot live on just muscle meat like a plain chicken breast. In the wild, they eat the bones for calcium, and the organs for vitamins like vitamin A and D. If you only give your cat raw hamburger meat from the store, they will eventually become very sick from a lack of minerals. A unique and simple step is to always use a completer powder, or follow a strict recipe that includes bone meal and organ meats to ensure they get every single nutrient they need to thrive. Have you heard about commercial raw diets, and how do they make the process of raw feeding much safer and simpler for busy owners? If you want the benefits of raw food without the mess and math of making it yourself, many pet stores now sell pre-made raw patties that are high-pressure processed. This is a unique technology that uses extreme pressure to kill bacteria without using heat, meaning the meat stays raw, but the germs are gone. These meals are already balanced with the correct amount of bone, organ, and muscle meat, so you don't have to worry about your cat missing out on calcium or taurine. This is a great middle ground for people who are nervous about raw meat safety, but want to give their cats the best nutrition possible. The simple step here is to keep these patties frozen until you are ready to use them, then thaw them in the fridge, never on the counter. By using a trusted commercial brand, you take the guesswork out of the wild diet and provide a consistent, safe meal for your kitty every single day. How should you transition your cat to a raw diet if they have spent their whole life eating dry kibble or cooked canned food? You should never switch cold turkey or overnight, as this can cause a massive upset in their digestive system. A cat's gut develops specific enzymes based on what they eat regularly, and a sudden change can lead to a lot of gas and diarrhea. Start by offering a tiny taster of raw meat alongside their normal meal. If they like it and their stomach stays calm, slowly increase the amount of raw and decrease the amount of the old food over a period of 2 to 3 weeks. Some cats are very picky and might not recognize raw meat as food because it doesn't have the strong artificial smells of kibble. A simple trick is to lightly sear the outside of the raw meat in a pan for just a few seconds. This releases the meaty aroma that cats love while keeping the inside raw. As they get used to the taste, you can cook it less and less until they are happily eating it completely raw and fresh. Which types of raw meat are the safest to start with, and are there any forbidden meats that you should never give to your cat? Plain, raw chicken or turkey are usually the best starting points because they are lean and easy to digest. Raw rabbit is also a fantastic choice because it is a natural prey item for felines. You should be more careful with raw pork, as it can occasionally carry parasites like trichinella, and raw fish should be given very sparingly. As we discussed in our Toxic Foods Guide, raw fish contains an enzyme that destroys thiamine, an essential B vitamin. If you do give fish, make sure it has been flash frozen to kill any parasites. Never give your cat raw meat that has been enhanced with salt, broth, or seasonings, as these often contain hidden onions or garlic, which are toxic. The simple rule is to keep it as clean and plain as possible. If the meat smells off to you, or if it has turned a gray color, throw it away. A cat's nose is very sensitive, and if they refuse a piece of meat, you should trust their instincts and not force them to eat it. Have you considered the dental health benefits of raw feeding, and how can chewing on raw bones actually help your cat's teeth? One of the most unique things about a raw diet is the inclusion of raw meaty bones, such as chicken necks or wings. When a cat chews through the soft bone and cartilage, it acts like a natural toothbrush, scraping away plaque and tartar from their teeth. This can prevent gum disease and expensive dental cleanings at the vet. However, there is one very important rule you must never forget: never, ever give your cat cooked bones. When bones are cooked, they become brittle and can splinter into sharp needles that can puncture your cat's throat or stomach. Raw bones are soft and flexible, making them safe for a cat to crunch on. If you are nervous about bones, you can use a high-quality bone meal powder instead, but you will miss out on the teeth cleaning benefits. Adding a raw chicken neck once a week is a simple step that can keep your cat's breath fresh and their smile bright for years. What kind of kitchen hygiene routine do you need to follow if you are a raw feeder, and how can you protect your family from germs? This is the most important part of the whole process. You must treat your cat's raw meat with the same caution you would use when preparing a chicken dinner for yourself. Use a dedicated cutting board and stainless steel bowls for the cat's meals, as plastic can develop tiny scratches that trap bacteria. After your cat finishes eating, wash the bowl immediately with hot, soapy water, or put it in the dishwasher. Clean the floor around the feeding area with a pet-safe disinfectant. Have you noticed if your cat is a messy eater who drags their meat out of the bowl? If so, you might want to feed them on a large, easy-to-clean tray. Washing your hands thoroughly after handling the meat and after petting your cat post-meal is a vital step. By maintaining a surgical level of cleanliness, you can enjoy the benefits of raw feeding while keeping the risk of illness at zero for everyone in the house. Which changes will you see in your cat's litter box after switching to raw meat, and why is this a good thing? This is one of the most popular reasons people switch to raw feeding. Because raw meat is so highly digestible, there is very little waste left over. Which means that your cat's poop will become much smaller, harder, and, best of all, it will have almost no smell. Many owners are shocked to find that they can barely tell when their cat has used the litter box. The stools often turn a light gray color and can crumble into dust after a day or two. This is a sign that the cat's body is using every single bit of the nutrition you are providing. If the poop becomes too hard, or if the cat is straining, it might mean there is too much bone in the diet, and you should add a little more muscle meat, or a teaspoon of plain pumpkin for fiber. Monitoring the litter box output is a simple way to judge if your raw recipe is balanced and working well for your cat's unique digestive system. How does raw feeding affect a cat's hydration levels, and can it help prevent common kidney and bladder problems? Cats have a very low thirst drive, because they evolved to get almost all of their water from their prey. Mice and birds are about 70% water, which is the perfect amount for a cat. Dry kibble, on the other hand, is only about 10% water, which keeps many cats in a state of chronic mild dehydration. This can lead to crystals in the urine and painful kidney stones. Raw meat is naturally high in moisture, so a raw-fed cat is constantly drinking while they eat. You will notice that your cat visits the water bowl much less often once they switch to raw. This extra hydration flushes out the kidneys and keeps the bladder healthy. It is a unique and natural way to protect your cat from some of the most common and expensive health issues that felines face as they get older. Keeping their internal plumbing running with moisture is a simple step toward a long and healthy life. Have you thought about the cost and the time commitment of raw feeding compared to traditional cat food? There is no denying that feeding raw meat is usually more expensive than buying a big bag of dry kibble. You also have to spend time shopping for fresh ingredients, weighing out portions, and cleaning up the kitchen. However, many owners find that they save money in the long run, because their cats have fewer vet visits, no dental problems, and a much lower risk of obesity and diabetes. Which means you are spending more on food, but less on medicine. To save money, you can buy meat in bulk, when it is on sale, and freeze it in daily portions. A simple step is to set aside 1 hour on a Sunday to meal prepare for the whole week. By being organized, you can make raw feeding a seamless part of your lifestyle, without it becoming a stressful chore. It is all about finding a rhythm that works for your budget and your schedule while prioritizing your pet's vitality. Which specific supplements should you add to raw meat to make it a perfect meal, and do you know about the Alnutrin or TC natural powders? As we mentioned, plain meat is not enough. To make a unique and complete meal, most raw feeders use a pre-mix powder that contains all the essential vitamins, minerals, and taurine that meat lacks on its own. You just mix the powder with some water and the raw meat, and you are done. This is much safer than trying to guess how much liver or heart to add on your own. Another great addition is a high-quality salmon oil for extra omega-3s, which are great for brain health and joint support. Have you considered adding a probiotic to the mix? This can help the good bacteria in the cat's gut stay strong and fight off any bad bacteria that might be on the meat. These simple additions turn a piece of chicken into a nutritional powerhouse that supports every system in your cat's body, from their nose to their tail. What should you do if your vet is anti-raw, and how can you have a productive conversation about your cat's diet? Many traditional vets are very worried about raw feeding, because they have seen the bad cases, where cats got sick from germs, or became malnourished from unbalanced recipes. It is important to listen to their concerns, and show them that you are being responsible. Tell them exactly which completer you are using, and show them your cleaning protocol. A good vet will appreciate that you are doing your homework. You might also look for a holistic, or integrative vet in your area, who has more experience with raw diets. They can help you run regular blood tests to ensure your cat's organs are functioning perfectly. The simple step here is to be an informed partner in your cat's healthcare. You don't have to agree on everything, but you should both have the same goal: a happy, healthy, and long-lived cat that brings joy to your home every day. In conclusion, the question, can cats eat raw meat, has a big yes, but it comes with a lot of responsibility for the owner. By understanding their biology, prioritizing hygiene, ensuring the diet is perfectly balanced, and moving slowly during the transition, you can unlock the many benefits of a raw diet. Whether you choose commercial raw patties, or make your own wild recipes at home, you are taking a unique path toward feline wellness. Remember to keep your kitchen clean, your English simple, and your heart open to your cat's needs. My name is Carl, and I hope this guide from Paw and Order has given you the confidence to explore the world of raw feeding safely. Your cat is a tiny hunter at heart, and by honoring their nature, you are building a deeper bond of trust and health. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more tips on how to give your pets the very best life possible.